Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Rescan your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further enquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Eli and I'm coming to you live from Kyiv, the capital city of Aquata. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government defends 5% fuel surcharge, says not to burden Nigerians. House of Representatives react to discovery of body found at National Assembly complex. Plus, Israeli military orders immediate evacuation of Gaza residents. Bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. We begin this afternoon from the national scene where President Bola Tinubu has directed armed forces to review ongoing security operations, including the deployment of advanced military hardware and surveillance equipment to eliminate terrorist groups across the country. This comes as Vice President Kashim Shettima expressed deep condolences to the government and people of Borno State over the recent terrorist attack that claimed many lives in Dar Jamal community, Bamaloka government area. According to a statement by his spokesman, Stanley Wokocha, the Vice President reiterated President Tinubu's directive to the armed forces to review security operations, including the deployment of advanced military hardware and surveillance equipment to eliminate terrorist groups across the country. In his condolence message, Shatima described the incident as a profound loss to both the state and the nation. The Vice President expressed confidence in the armed forces' capacity to overcome the security challenges facing the state, noting that President Tinubu's approval for the acquisition of additional drones and his directive for all security agencies to intensify and review their operational strategies. Shatima further highlighted the federal government's consideration of establishing state police, stressing President Tinubu's position that security challenges in some states require specialized units that understand local terrain and culture and can effectively operate at the grassroots level. The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, said the proposed fuel surcharge is intended to generate a dedicated fund for Nigeria's deteriorating roads, not to add extra strain on households. Oyedele acknowledged public worries that recent tax reforms could worsen inflation, but argued that improved road infrastructure is essential to lowering the cost of moving goods and people. He clarified this while speaking live today. Oyedele linked the poor state of roads directly to inflation, noting a yawning gap between rural and urban food prices. Reports say 5% fuel surcharge is one of the taxes under the recently enacted Nigeria Tax Act 2025 and is proposed to take effect in January 2026. In a related development, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) says it has rejected the federal government's planned 5% tax on petroleum products, describing it as a reckless proposal, which is nothing but an act of economic wickedness against already overburdened Nigerians. The union said that the government policy, if implemented, would compound suffering, cripple businesses, and push millions of citizens deeper into poverty. The TUC, in a statement signed by its President General Festus Sifo and Secretary General N.A. Toro, said that the federal government cannot continue to use Nigerians as sacrificial lambs for its economic experiment. The union demanded a stop to the anti-people's plan in its entirety, warning that it would mobilize workers and the masses for a nationwide resistance if the government failed to do so. From the red chambers, the Senate has turned down Senator Natasha request to return to legislative duties, insisting that her 6-month suspension is still in force until the Court of Appeal rules on her case. In a letter signed by the acting clerk to the National Assembly, Dr. Yahaya Danzeria, the Senate acknowledged receiving the senator's notice that she planned to resume on the 4th of September 2025, which she said marked the end of her suspension. But the Senate pointed out that her suspension started March 6, 2025, adding that the matter is sub judice since it is already before the Court of Appeal. Senator Potudwagan, who represents Kogi Central, was suspended in March after the Senate accused her of breaching its standing orders. Now to the Green Chambers, where the House of Representatives has clarified reports regarding the discovery of an unidentified body near the National Assembly complex on Sunday. Reports say the body of a deceased was found inside a red Peugeot parked near the Annex Building gate close to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation SGF. The House spokesman, Akin Rotimi Jr., said the clarification follows the official report from the Nigeria Police Force, the lead investigative authority on the case. He added that the House aimed to keep the public accurately informed to prevent speculation. Rotimi, who quoted the Divisional Police Officer DPO of the National Assembly Division, that the deceased, believed to be a laborer at a construction site within the complex, commended the police for their swift response and assured the public of transparent updates as the investigation progresses. In education, a special committee set up to probe examination infractions during the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) has recommended the cancellation of the results of 6,319 candidates involved in technology-assisted malpractices. The panel, which was constituted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAM), also recommended the banning of indicted candidates for 1 to 3 years and prosecution of the candidates involved in the infractions and their collaborators. The special committee, headed by Dr. Jake Ekpele, presented its report to JAM Registrar Professor Aisha Koloyede at the board's headquarters in Buari in Abuja. Ekpele, who read the report of the committee, noted that the cheating methods used by the candidates were sophisticated, including the use of technology. To address the issue, the chairman said his committee proposed a multi-layered framework built on detection, deterrence, and prevention. Back in the home front, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has announced plans to recruit winners and those who are exceptional in their performances at the sports festival in the state into the upcoming sports academy for extensive grooming and adequate exposure. The governor disclosed this while declaring open the sports festival at the Uyo Township Stadium, themed Nurturing Talents, Promoting Tourism. He said the festival was aimed at discovering talents and showcasing the state's potential in the global sports arena. Governor No, who was represented by his deputy Senator Akone Yaganyi, urged the athletes to put their best and talent and skills on full display to show the spirit of sportsmanship. The governor, however, attributed lack of modern equipment as one of the major reasons for the inability of the state to win laurels at major national and international sporting events. He said the state government has gone ahead with the purchase of world-class sporting equipment, which will help youth to train, compete, and excel at international events. He expressed optimism that with the availability of sporting tools and facilities, there would be a total turnaround as Akwa Ibom youth would be equipped to compete and conquer the world in various sporting activities. Earlier in his welcome address, the State Commissioner for Sports, Paul Bassi, said the ministry has a mandate to discover talents and nurture them for the Ibom Sports Academy. He hinted that over 3,000 athletes drawn across the 31 local government areas of the state would be competing in the 18 categories at different locations from Uyo and Eket Township Stadium to Tower of Ivory and Accra Community Secondary Schools. Now to Africa, where Ivory Coast presidential race took a dramatic turn yesterday as two major opposition figures were officially barred from next month's election. The Constitutional Council announced that former President Laurent Gbagbo and former Credit Suisse CEO TGN Thiam are ineligible to run in the October 25th vote. The council cited their removal from the electoral roll as their reason for their exclusion. Thiam, leader of the PDCI Ivory Coast's largest opposition party, was removed in April due to nationality-related legal issues after acquiring French citizenship, while Gbagbo, head of the African People's Party, Ivory Coast, was excluded because of a past criminal conviction. On the foreign scene, the Israeli military has ordered all residents of Gaza City to evacuate immediately, saying it plans to operate in the area with great force. In a social media post, the IDF urged those present in all its neighborhoods to relocate to a humanitarian zone. This comes after Israel's Security Cabinet last month approved a plan to take control of the enclave's most populous city, a move that has been condemned by leaders worldwide. Still in the foreign scene, Thailand's top court has ruled that former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra must serve a year in jail in yet another blow to the influential political dynasty. The decision relates to a previous case where he was sentenced to years in prison for corruption but ended up spending less than a day in his jail cell as he was moved to a hospital. The Supreme Court therefore ruled that the transfer was unlawful and that the 76-year-old would have to serve his sentence in jail. Reports say Thaksin and his family have dominated Thai politics since he was first elected Prime Minister in 2001. Still to come in the news. Aroko to lead Super Eagles attack against Bafana today. Stay tuned for details in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned. To conclude the news on this hour, in business, the closed-door meeting organized by the federal government to broker peace between the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, and the Dangote Group reportedly ended in a deadlock. The meeting was led by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dinyadi, as well as the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Nkirika Onyedocha, as part of efforts to resolve the industrial dispute between the two parties to avert the planned industrial action by NUPENG. Present at the meeting were the national executives of NUPENG and officials of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC. Also present was the Executive Director, Distribution Systems, Storage and Retailing Infrastructure of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Okupo Ukoha, as well as representatives of the Dangote Group. Recall that NUPENG had last Friday announced that its members would cease work from September 8 in protest against alleged moves by the Dangote refinery to prevent its compressed natural gas CNG tanker drivers from joining labor unions. Although both the Petroleum Tanker Drivers and the Direct Trucking Company Drivers Association distanced themselves from the planned action, NUPENG reaffirmed on Sunday that it would proceed with the industrial action. Still in business, the Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, has said that the economic strategy of President Bola Tinubu's administration is hinged on foreign exchange reforms, large-scale infrastructure investment and energy. Yakubu explained that floating the naira and settling outstanding FX liabilities have started rebuilding investor confidence, while infrastructure projects in transportation and energy aim to lower business expenses and connect markets nationwide. He claimed that Tinubu's administration had spent more than 5.9 trillion naira on projects in the northwest, with the benefit felt across the country. The DG maintained that the president, with his vision of a national belt where the Calabar Maiduguri Sokoto arc work on the Badagry Lagos Expressway, the Ilela Sokoto corridor, and the Lagos Calabar Coastal Superhighway was building on his predecessor Muhammadu Buhari's work. On our health news, medical experts have raised alarm over the growing trend of vitamin and glutathione drips administered in spas, warning that the practices pose serious risk to vital organs, including the liver and kidneys. They cautioned that while the treatment is being promoted as a quick fix for wellness and beauty, it has no proven medical benefits for healthy individuals. According to the physicians, many spas mix cocktails of vitamins and inject them into clients without conducting proper health checks, exposing them to dangers such as allergic reactions, organ damage, and life-threatening infections. Experts further warned that excessive doses of vitamins, often given in these drips, can overwhelm the body, disrupt organ function, and in some cases lead to multi-organ failure. Still in health, dental experts have warned Nigerians to immediately stop the harmful practice of chewing bones, emphasizing that it causes significant damage to teeth and oral health. They explained that chewing bones can lead to cracked teeth, excessive wear and tear on tooth surfaces, and increased sensitivity, which can result in long-term dental complications if left unchecked. The dental professionals highlighted that many Nigerians chew bones under the mistaken belief that it strengthens their teeth by providing calcium. They, however, stressed that this practice actually weakens the teeth by wearing down the protective enamel, leaving them vulnerable to decay and pain. Now to sports news. Wolverhampton Wanderers forward Tolu Arokodare is expected to lead Nigeria's attack in tonight's crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against South Africa. The Super Eagles will be without their talisman Victor Osimhen for the crucial game. Osimhen sustained an injury in Nigeria's matchday 7 win over Rwanda last Saturday and has returned to Galatasaray for treatment. Arokodare scored the winning goal for Nigeria against the Amavubi. The 24-year-old put up an impressive performance in the game and was named player of the match. In the absence of Osimhen, head coach Eric Shaw will rely on him to deliver the goods for the Super Eagles. Arokodare has scored twice in 5 appearances for the Super Eagles. Still in sports, Nottingham Forest have sacked head coach Nuno Espirito Santo. The 51-year-old who was handed a new contract this summer after guiding Forest to the Europa League said in August his relationship with co-owner Evangelos Marikais was not the same and not so good as it was last season. It is believed that no one has yet been lined up as replacement, but the club are hoping to move swiftly. On entertainment news, veteran actor Chiweta Luagu has shared his opinion in a trending online video advising people not to sacrifice their lives for relationships. In the viral clip, Agu urged people to rather let go of a relationship than die to save it, adding that love shouldn't come at the cost of life. And that's all we have on this news bulletin. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12 a.m. We are here, man. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.